I have a bank, a big bank. Do they know I bought a candy bar or a book or made a charitable contribution? Or yeah, they know because I use my credit card. Um, but the government doesn't know. And in order for the government to find out, they'd have to issue a warrant, a search warrant, or a subpoena, go through some judicial process, due process of law under the Fifth and 14th Amendments, to get that information. And that would have to be run by a judge, and a judge would probably say no, because, absent a crime of some sort, you can't do it. Um, but if the government has the ledger, which is what a central bank digital currency implies, they don't have to go to the private sector. They've got that information. Now, and they're like, hey, it's better, faster, cheaper, eliminate all these middlemen, et cetera. Okay, that's true. But there's a cost, a big cost, which is that they can now use that ledger for government surveillance.
In a recent discussion, Jim Rickards outlined the potential risks associated with central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, in the US economy. With CBDCs, every transaction would be recorded on a centralized ledger maintained by either the Federal Reserve or the Treasury, enabling unprecedented government surveillance. Rickards warns that this level of scrutiny could lead to privacy concerns, with the government having access to detailed information about individuals' financial activities. He highlights the importance of safeguarding privacy and suggests strategies for protecting cash assets from such surveillance. Stay informed about the latest insights in finance by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to turn on post notifications for more updates.
We've warned people about central bank digital currencies. And so what's a central bank digital currency? Well, as it relates to the dollar, it's still a dollar. It's not a new currency. It's still a dollar, but it's completely digital form. You'd have no more cash. You got to get rid of cash. And the most important thing that we were warning about is that, you have what's called a ledger. A ledger is just an accounting records, like who owns what, who's my depositor, who's my customer, et cetera. And the banks keep ledgers. With the central bank digital currency, the ledger would be maintained by the Federal Reserve or the Treasury. Not clear which, but maybe the Federal Reserve, but one or the other, Treasury or Federal Reserve, would maintain a ledger of all transactions, kind of like a blockchain in cryptocurrency world. It is like a cryptocurrency. It would basically turn the dollar into a completely digitized form. The significance of that is the following. Right now, use this example before. I buy a candy bar at an airport. I use my credit card. I get the candy bar. The merchant has a payable from MasterCard. What do they do with it? Well, they sell it to a bundler called a merchant acquirer. They scoop up all these receivables from all the merchants everywhere of all different kinds. They then bundle them. They deliver them to MasterCard. MasterCard or Visa pays them. Then MasterCard sends them to the banks that issued the credit cards. In my case, my credit card sends it to my bank. The bank pays them, and then the bank sends me a bill on my credit card, and I pay the bill. So you got five people. You got the customer, the merchant, the merchant acquirer, Visa or MasterCard, and the bank in a transaction to buy one candy bar. And you can make that more efficient. But the point is, all of those parties are private. The government is not in that chain I just described. And does, I have a bank, a big bank. Do they know I bought a candy bar or a book or made a charitable contribution? Or yeah, they know because I use my credit card. But the government doesn't know. And in order for the government to find out, they'd have to issue a warrant, a search warrant, or a subpoena, go through some judicial process, due process of law under the Fifth and 14th Amendments, to get that information. And that would have to be run by a judge, and a judge would probably say no, because, absent a crime of some sort, you can't do it. But if the government has the ledger, which is what a central bank digital currency implies, they don't have to go to the private sector. They've got that information. Now, and they're like, hey, it's better, faster, cheaper, eliminate all these middlemen, et cetera. Okay, that's true. But there's a cost, a big cost, which is that they can now use that ledger for government surveillance. So let's say they want to profile you. They say, okay, did you buy a MAGA hat, red hat, make America great again? Did you make a political contribution to Elise Stefanik, who's like the #3 Republican in the House? Did you buy religious goods? Did you buy a book why I love Trump, or why I love DeSantis, or whatever. Did you travel to a rally? Yeah. Did you make a charitable contribution to a charity that supports some of our constitutional rights? They could take all that information. They would have it because they have the ledger. They could use artificial intelligence to profile you, and they could decide that you were what Biden calls an enemy of the people.
Continuing into the next segment, Jim Rickards delves into the implications of recent government actions and their potential impact on individual freedoms and financial security. He emphasizes the need for individuals to adopt a proactive approach in safeguarding their wealth and preserving their liberties in the face of increasing government surveillance and intervention. Rickards recommends diversifying assets beyond traditional forms of currency and investment, advocating for the inclusion of tangible assets like gold and silver in one's portfolio as a hedge against economic volatility and government overreach. By staying informed about evolving financial regulations and technological advancements, individuals can better position themselves to navigate the complexities of the modern financial landscape, while advocating for responsible governance that respects individual rights.
Here, go back to the September 2022 Biden speech in Philadelphia in front of Independence Hall, where I call it, Lighting and Art Direction by Leni Riefenstahl, who was a good friend of Adolf Hitler. She produced the Nuremberg rallies in the 1930s for the Nazi Party. They basically took her playbook, blood red, vertical lighting, military guards on either side, Biden at the podium. You put the camera low so you're looking up at the fearless leader. I mean, I just looked at that and go, okay, they just took Leni Riefenstahl's movie, Triumph of the Will, and copied it, which they did. So, but Biden defined half the American people as enemies of the people. He did a MAGA profile and basically said, you're enemies of the people. Well, now take that rationale, take that statement, take all the information I just described, use artificial intelligence, and you can profile people and run them down with FBI goon squads. Okay. So we warned people about that. We started 2 years ago. We were very intensively sounding this warning in 2022. Got a very good reaction from our readers, like, yeah, we'd like to know more about this, etc. Here's the news, and here's the headline you're referring to, Matt. Everything I just described has happened already without central bank digital currencies. It was just revealed through leaks or whistleblowers, but with documentation, and now the Republicans and House representatives are demanding more, that the FBI did exactly what we talked about without central bank digital currencies, without warrants, without subpoenas. They basically wrote a letter to the big banks. Now, we know Bank of America. Bank of America has been named. That's not speculation. I'm not going to speculate on who else got these letters, but it would be reasonable to infer that it's, Citibank, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and a few others. Again, I want to be clear, I don't know that for a fact, but why would they send it to one bank and not the others? We do know Bank of America for a fact. And the letter said, give us your records on anybody who did the following. So pay on Venmo, pay on Zelle, pay through other payment channels, PayPal, whatever. There are a lot of them out there, where either the message traffic, because people send, hey, here's for some, and they put a little description or whatever, where they use the word MAGA, they use the word Trump, or other triggers were, did you shop at Cabela's? Did you shop at Bass Pro Shops? Did you shop at Dick's Sporting Goods? Why those three? Well, the answer is they sell weapons. They sell guns. And right. Now think for a minute about what's going on here. So this is the US government. Okay. So the Bill of Rights applies. So they're basically violating First Amendment rights because you're allowed to support Trump. You're allowed to say, I mean, MAGA stands for Make America Great Again. That's an opinion. That's a view. What's wrong with that? And even if you don't like it, too bad. It's protected under the First Amendment. So they're trashing your First Amendment rights, number one. Secondly, and it's not in this article you're showing, Matt, but separately, we've learned that the FBI has targeted the Catholic Church. And so, but that somehow means you're a terrorist. Right. So then they say, we want to see if you bought a Bible. Well, so there's another First Amendment violation, because the First Amendment guarantees freedom of religion and freedom of speech. So they're trashing the First Amendment. They're trashing the Second Amendment, which basically says the right of the American people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. because that's where Cabela's, and you've got it here in your thing, Cabela's and Dick's Sporting Good, and I understand Bass Pro Shops was another one. Why? Because they sell guns and ammo. They don't really care if you bought a kayak or a tent. They do care if you bought guns and ammo. So they're trashing your Second Amendment rights. And then finally, the whole thing is a violation of the Fourth Amendment because the Fourth Amendment protects Americans against unreasonable searches and seizures. This is a search. By the way, short step to a seizure when they break down your door, but this is a search. So no warrant, no subpoena. And by the way, to get a warrant and a subpoena, you need probable cause. Where's the crime? I wrote one article. I said, well, if you shoot somebody and you're wearing a MAGA hat, by the way, the violence is not coming from the right, it's coming from the left. But if you shoot somebody and wearing a MAGA hat, you get arrested for shooting somebody. You don't get arrested for the hat. In other words, buying a hat is not a crime. It doesn't indicate a crime. It doesn't give you probable cause for anything. And so if you're saying that just typing the word MAGA in a Venmo or Zelle message is enough to demand information from Bank of America, or I presume the other big banks, you're trashing the Fourth Amendment as well. So like what part of the Bill of Rights are you not attacking, Joe Biden and your minions and your goon squads in the FBI? So again, this is shocking. We warned people about it for almost 2 years in the context of central bank digital currencies, because it would be very easy to do this with central bank digital currencies. But what we've now learned is that they're not waiting for central bank digital currencies are coming, CBDCs are coming, but they're not waiting for it. They're doing it right now.
In today's discussion, we've delved into the potential ramifications of central bank digital currencies and their impact on individual freedoms and privacy. Jim Rickards has highlighted the dangers of increased government surveillance and the erosion of constitutional rights, emphasizing the need for individuals to remain vigilant and proactive in safeguarding their financial security. From the threat of government profiling to violations of First, Second, and Fourth Amendment rights, it's clear that informed action is crucial in these uncertain times. We hope you found today's insights valuable and thought-provoking. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on finance, economics, and current events. Like this video if you found it informative, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback and engagement are vital as we navigate the complexities of our changing world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.